Relations between Turkey and Russia have at times been a delicate balancing act. The two countries are on the opposite sides of several conflicts, from Syria, Libya to the South Caucasus. But despite that obvious rivalry, one thing has kept their partnership from unraveling: the need for peace and stability. That's the message Turkey's Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu conveyed after he met his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov last week. They touched on the multiple conflicts on their doorstep and the ceasefires they helped broker. Çavuşoğlu also gave assurances that the Istanbul Canal project won't impact the governing of the Turkish Straits, which Russia relies on to access the Mediterranean Sea. For the past year, major differences between Ankara and Moscow have been kept in check. But will that stability hold, considering a series of regional and global shifts, especially with a Biden administration that is looking to reinvigorate the NATO alliance? And joining me now from Istanbul is Furkan Kaya. He is an assistant professor at Yeditepe University. And from Ankara, Ivan Starodubtsev, a political analyst who specializes in Turkish-Russian relations. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. Ivan, could you walk us through the latest in Turkey-Russia relations? Are there any tensions between the two countries?
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I believe that in order to understand latest developments in Russian-Turkish relations, we should have a look at two latest meeting and statement which were done from the Russian side. First of all, there was a meeting between Mr. Lavrov and Mr. Çavuşoğlu, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia and Turkey. And as we saw, both of them met each other without ties. It looked quite informal, and from their body language, we may see that they were pretty much positive towards each other. First of all. Second of all, yesterday there was a statement from our spokesman of President, Mr. Dmitry Peskov, who said that Turkey is an example of how Russia could cooperate with a NATO member and leaving this fact apart. So I believe we have to look at these positive signals from Russian side in order to understand where we are now.
Okay, so Furkan, what's your take on that, and what's your take on the both foreign ministers meeting in Antalya? Have they been able to register some progress, for example, on sticking issues?
First of all, thanks so much for kind invitation. We can evaluate the relations between Turkey and Russia within the framework rival cooperation, indeed. Today, we see that Turkey and Russia can distance themselves from conflict areas through cooperation. For example, Russia doesn't see PYD as a terrorist organization, and the PYD has an office in Moscow now.
Yes.
The United States, on the other hand, sees PYD, its organic arm, and as an ally against Daesh, although it sees the PKK as a terrorist organization. On the other hand, Russia supports the Assad regime. It accepts the presence of the PYD in the east of the Euphrates for the continuation of the regime.
Yes.
We have said that indeed there are more opportunities for cooperation between the two countries, especially Turkey's surrounding geography.
So, Ivan, you've just mentioned the high-level Russian officials' emphasis on how important it is to cooperate with a NATO ally, but we know that they have been able to accommodate their differences so far. But do you believe that a revitalized Western alliance under Biden administration could affect this partnership?
I believe that, of course, the Western Alliance is not so much happy with the Russian-Turkish cooperation. We saw it in nuclear power plant. We saw it in the case of S-400, and they will do for sure their best in order to get in between of us and somehow not to let us move on with our strategic partnership. So I believe they will continue their efforts, and we see such a statement, such a words from their side.
Mm-hmm.
But the main issue that Russia and Turkey really tries their best to open new areas of cooperation. The latest opening of Sputnik V vaccine manufacture in Turkey, I think it is a kind of signal that we are opening the new pages in order to balance our difference in approaches.
But on the other hand, Furkan, how do you think, how has the latest NATO military exercise called the Sea Breeze, one of the largest maneuvers in decades, and it was led by Ukraine and the United States, stoked tensions with Russia in the Black Sea? And is Black Sea likely to become another international hotspot?
Definitely, it's right. We have to remember today the only sea that the USA cannot enter and stay in is the Black Sea. Therefore, the United States is looking for ways to be permanent in the Black Sea. On the other hand, Russia's Eastern Mediterranean policy begins in the Black Sea. If the US stays in the Black Sea, Russia's warm seas policy may collapse.
Yes.
This could really be a cause of war for Russia. And moreover, Ukraine's geopolitical value is revealed by the interaction of many factors rather than a single dynamic. The great powers have always seen Ukrainian territory as a transit and base area, a strategic buffer zone as well. And moreover, Ukraine is an important geopolitical axis of the Eurasian chessboard. Russia, that's why, cannot be a Eurasian empire without Ukraine. It remains only the Asian empire. And furthermore, Crimea, the issue is very important. Crimea controls the north of the Black Sea. On the other hand, it borders the Sea of Azov, the west and south. That's why Crimea connects Europe to the northern Caucasus through the Kerch Strait. That's why Ukraine has a great role, Russian national security, due to sharing a long border with it.
So, Ivan, do you believe that this latest NATO exercise has been an indication of a multinational solidarity with Ukraine and a front against Russia? And do you believe that Turkey's close ties, spanning from strategic partnership to visa travel regime and close defense cooperation, are hurting its relations with Russia?
First of all, let me say I fully agree with the idea that NATO would like to be more present in the Black Sea. But I believe that neither in Russian nor in Turkish interest is to let to do so. I believe that Russia and Turkey would like to keep it, to reserve it as an internal, let me say, kind of a lake between our states. And I believe that, okay, there are a lot of difference in approach between Russia and Turkey, but Astana approach is the best example of how we can cooperate even in the case of such differences in terms of Assad regime or whatsoever. Russia does not share maybe the same views or at terror with Turkey, as well as Turkey doesn't share the same views with Russia at terror. But at the end of the day, what I see, both of us, we are able to understand each other's worries and interests and to respect them.
Yes, but Ivan, is Russia concerned over the Canal Istanbul project, which could, as it puts, jeopardize Montreux Convention?
There is a lot of speculations in Russia about how Canals Istanbul will affect Montreux Agreement, but there was a latest statement from Mr. Putin who said that no relations between Montreux and Canal Istanbul. So from this point of view, there is no objection from Russian side.
Okay, so let's move to the Middle East a bit more. As for the Syrian crisis, there have been military attacks against civilians in Syria's northwest Idlib. We know that. What's the latest there, Furkan? And are two sides likely to reach some sort of a renewed relation on agreement on Idlib, especially on M24 highway, or are talks stalled at the moment?
Yes, we all know that Turkey and Russia, some conflicts about the Syrian issue. But as I said before, PYD issue is a more conflictual issue between two countries. PYD has been seen as maybe a friend for Russia, but they always say that if you want to be present in this region, you have to cooperate with Assad regime. But on the other hand, USA also sees PYD as a friend, as an ally against Daesh. But we always say that we do not want a terrorist terrorist state in our border, along our borderline, Syria to northern Iraq. That's why some conflictual issues between Turkey and Russia has been maintained. But we have to say that Russia and Turkey can achieve compartment policy within some policies. Maybe Russia wants to make a Eurasian economic Eurasian conflict. Maybe some friends come together and maybe we can make a friends with these economies, and
Yes.
that's maybe China's One Belt, One Road. We combine these organizations together.
Yes, and on the other hand, Ivan, all eyes are set on Libya. How do you think Turkey and Russia's agreement over the removal of troops from Libya will play out, and what guarantees were given to them, to one another actually, to withdraw foreign fighters from Libya?
I believe that the most efforts of Russia and Turkey today is to copy and paste the experience of Syria just to Libya and to make a so-called Astana 2.0 and to show some kind of a partnership also in order to just stop internal conflict in Libya. How much it is possible, it is questionable, because Russian presence was never in Libya like in Syria, because now in Syria, Russia army at the end of the day is by invitation of the official Damascus. There is no such a case in Libya, and Russia officially is not there, although somehow it show its appearance, its influence with in other ways. So I believe those dialogue is going on, but at the end of the day, as I said, Russia is not so much active in Libya. Just it show itself that okay, I'm here, but it is not an influencer so much in Libya. I would not exaggerate its role in Libya.
Yeah, so Furkan, will this understanding and stability in relations hold, let's say, for the rest of the year that is bound to see many political shifts? What's your take on that?
Yes, we all know that especially for Russia, the security of Transcaucasia, for example, a very important issue for security for Moscow. The fact that Turkey, for example, Karabakh issue, if you consider the Karabakh issue,
yes,
we all know that it is encircled by Turkey problematic issue. That's why Turkey sided with Azerbaijan in the last Karabakh war, and at the end of the war, under Armenian occupation, land became Turkish again, and this showed Turkish power in Caucasian policy. In addition, Zengezur corridor, you can see the Zengezur corridor, and Turkey has been connected with the geography with Turkestan by road and railway. That's why currently the Middle East corridor route of the new Silk Road passed directly through the Turkish Republic, and it may even the Silk Road may transform Turan or Turkish road in the future. And Armenia also benefits from this economic welfare corridor. It's interesting, and it can start with trade with Russia, even with Turkey through Azerbaijan. And this overall, Turkey has two national cases. We have to mention on them. One is Cyprus, and other is Karabakh. And now Karabakh joined the homeland, but there is a ceasefire process. And I want to say something about Montreux Convention and Canal Istanbul. This is very important for Turkish and Russian relations because, as you said before, the waters in the Black Sea will continue to warm. As a riparian country, Turkey will reveal the strategies in the Black Sea geopolitics, because Black Sea means Caspian Basin and the Eastern Mediterranean. And also the natural gas reserves that Turkey has discovered in the Black Sea have increased the power of energy diplomacy, and this will increase Turkey's diplomatic bargaining power in the medium and the long term.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk.